Hey there, and welcome to this week's Sunday Musings, where every week I spend a little time talking about something that's been on my mind. I also write a weekly blog that is complimentary, but not quite the same as this. I always embed a copy of the video in that blog, so if you want one-stop shopping, check out my link on Medium and you can see both. I would love to have a conversation with you, so stick around till the end of the video and you can see a link to my calendar, or just leave a comment. So this week, I want to talk about practicing gratitude. The last couple years have been challenging, I think, for me personally, and I would hazard a guess to the world as a whole. There have been disruptions from a pandemic that was unexpected. There's been anger and fear from the uncertainty of what's going on. There have been changes in our society, changes in government, raids, anger, just so much change. And I think we've all had, I know I have, a certain frustration at an inability to do some of the things that I've wanted to, feeling like I wasn't safe or that I just wasn't allowed. So I've really been focusing on personal development and self-care, because I am not necessarily the best at taking care of myself. I think I'm probably not alone in that, and that many of us are not good at taking care of ourselves, but it's much easier to focus on others and take care of them. And over the last year of sort of being a little more secluded, I realized that I've started to pick up a few self-destructive and damaging habits while I was on my personal development path and taking care of myself. I realized it when I was talking to an old friend that I hadn't talked to in a couple of years. And the look on their face when certain things would come out of my mouth, mimicking, I think I'd started picking up some phrases from those that were in my pod that maybe were a little bit based in depression or anger. And I started emulating or picking up some of the phrases and really starting to be self-destructive and putting myself down. And I realized when I started looking back and in doing a self-assessment that this was really starting to impact me. There was so much problems and anger in the news and in social media that I took months off from really paying attention to either one because it was impacting me in a bad way. Now I truly regulate a lot more of that. Anyhow, when I started realizing that I was making these self-critical comments or self-depreciating and really internalizing simple mistakes as I'm just awful, I'm horrible, I'm incompetent, I realized that that was not who I was. And it didn't even sound right to me, but yet I developed this habit of saying it. And so I am looking now at ways of adjusting that. So I'm really focusing on self-positivity and really trying to surround myself with things that feed my soul. And one of those things was reading a book that was gifted to me, a book by Brene Brown called The Power of Vulnerability. And I'd also heard a keynote speech by Jay Shetty and decided to accept his challenge about practicing gratitude for 30 days. And I started off with all of these intentions. I was going to use a mindfulness app to every day start developing my meditation practices and make sure that I set aside a quiet space. I was going to write in a gratitude journal every day to really start focusing and pinpointing the things in my day that went well and that I was really grateful for. And I was going to make time to tell each person, or at least tell one person a day, something that they had done that had a positive impact on me or something that I thought really needed recognition. I wasn't sure this was going to help me out, but habits take about 30 days. So I figured I'm worth the investment. Let's try it. Here's what I found. Bad habits are hard to break, and forming healthier habits are even harder. However, if I started thinking about gratitude and reframing it less as a habit and more as a shift to healthier lifestyle, it's been easier. If I think about eating healthier foods, like is the word of a diet, that sounds like I'm being punished. But if I really embrace the pleasure of fresh fruits and vegetables and healthier grains. It feels more like a journey and an adventure. So reframing that definitely has helped. I have never been good at writing a daily journal. And so keeping a gratitude journal hasn't really been helpful for me. But what I have found is that when I am doing things like exercise, like walking, like spending time with my cats and my dogs, I'm taking time in that moment and intentionally verbalizing to the cats and dogs who think I'm crazy, or really focusing and almost doing a walking meditation where I'm citing the things that have really made a difference in that day, that week, or in the last month. The things that I'm really grateful for and finding joy in. And that's working for me. Whereas a journal, I was really diligent for about 2 weeks and then it sort of just didn't happen. But I'm spending time practicing and I'm associating it in a time of play or joy for me, which is exercise and walking and time with the furry children. I have absolutely been doing daily meditations. Some are just sitting in quiet, letting the thoughts filter through my head, and then sorting through and realizing what I don't need to keep and what I really want to focus on, which is the positivity. A couple others are guided meditations through both the Headspace app on my phone and I'm a geek. My Oculus Rift has a couple really amazing guided meditation apps on there too, and I've been spending a little bit of time on that every day. And I think the thing that's helped me most of all is really trying to articulate with people the things that they do that I appreciate, giving my gratitude for them being in my life and verbalizing it to them. I've been reaching out to people that I haven't talked to in a while and reconnecting. And that's also been great, reminding them and myself of the things that we did years ago and how wonderful that was, and reminding myself of when I want them in my life. I still have little negative voices in my head. One sits on this shoulder and says things that I don't want to hear, but more often than not lately, I don't hear that, or I sort of go, all right, well, you can say that, but I really think differently. And so I think that this has been helping with my headspace in general, and just, I don't know, keeping me in a better place. And it's something I'm going to keep doing. I still have the gratitude app so I can write things down when I want to. And every now and then I find that really helpful, but I'm setting myself up for success here. How about you? Where do you stand on gratitude? What are some of your practices and things that really help you? I'm always looking to see if I can add better practices. Anyhow, until next week, have a good one and I'll see you soon.